First thing to consider when you're serving is where your feet should be. It used to be, about 20 years ago, coaches would always say your feet should always be set up in the general line in the direction where you want to hit the serve. And there is some reason to that. But one of the things I'll submit is that I think that that's a highly personal thing, and you should mold your coaching and your teaching around that. If you have a player with extreme flexibility in their hips, or a player who wants to create a little bit more disguise in their delivery, then that's fine. They can do different things with their feet. Consider some of the different styles that we've seen. Goran Ivanisevic, of course, was left-handed. Boris Becker is another example of a righty. They serve with, in effect, basically an open stance. That was sort of Becker's delivery. Pete Sampras, of course, was a lot more closed like this. And John McEnroe was all the way closed like this, almost back parallel to the baseline. So the way you position your feet has a lot to do with the player's flexibility, so you need to be flexible in your approach. Encourage your players to try different styles and find what works best for them, and observe that with a discerning eye. The second thing to consider with the serve, and this is a common mistake that most make, is hold the racket loosely. Hold on loosely. You want to hold the racket as loosely as possible so it really whips in your hand. If you strangle the handle of the racket, you're not going to be able to get nearly as much whip. One of the keys to training yourself to do that is have your pinky and even your ring and pinky off, so you take some practice swings like that. I wouldn't advocate doing that when you're actually playing, but to get the feeling of how loose the racket should be, take some practice swings and even hit some practice serves with just a couple fingers on the racket. It can easily be done. And the other thing, and this is a personal one, is consider hooking your finger and with the inside of your finger, a little pressure point on the flat of the handle, and that will help you to snap your wrist more forcefully, pronate your arm more forcefully. You'll find those different pressure points, so experiment on your own. There's not one proper way of holding the grip. Typically, you want to hold the racket in this manner, in effect, sort of like an Eastern backhand grip or a continental grip, but there have been great players, Boris Becker among them, who serve with almost like an Eastern forehand. Stefan Edberg on the other extreme, his hand was all the way at the top of the racket. So there is a range of good. The most important common denominator with that, though, is to hold your racket loosely. One of the real keys in